So I suppose this is going to be the first Hacktoberfest for many of you all. So do not worry if you're not aware. We'll be diving deep into this. So I guess there's quite a lot of people waiting. We can probably start. I would like to first of all call upon Avni to explain what Hacktoberfest really is about so you guys can get a feel for it before we dive deep into this.
Good evening, everyone. Whether you are here as a developer, a designer, or simply someone who's curious about the world of open source, you're part of the energy that makes Hacktoberfest so impactful. Before we dive into our projects, let's take a step back and talk about what Hacktoberfest is all about. Hacktoberfest started back in 2014, launched by DigitalOcean as a month-long celebration of open source contributions. What began as a small initiative quickly turned into a global movement. Every October, contributors from around the world come together to learn, share, and collaborate, all while making meaningful contributions to projects that matter. The idea is simple. Open source is for everyone. Whether you are a seasoned coder, a beginner making your very first pull request, or even a designer creating visuals for a project, your contribution counts. Hacktoberfest has become a symbol of inclusivity, learning, and community spirit. As a community, our goal has always been to empower students to explore, learn, and grow in technology and design. Hacktoberfest gives us the perfect platform to do exactly that. It's not just about coding, it's about teamwork, creativity, and building something meaningful together. That's why we have designed domain specific projects. Each domain gives participants a chance to express themselves, work with others, and gain real world experience, while still keeping the fun and festive spirit of Hacktoberfest alive. Working on projects like these gives you a chance to collaborate, to see your ideas come to life, and to learn from your peers. You will get hands on exposure to how projects are built and maintained, how teams divide responsibilities, and how consistency and creativity can make or break a design or development effort. For those of you aiming to build portfolios, this is golden. By the end of Hacktoberfest, you will have real, tangible work to showcase. Work that reflects not just your skills, but also your ability to work in a team and contribute to your community. So, as we go through the presentations today, I encourage you to keep one thing in mind. This isn't just about completing tasks or ticking boxes, it's about building something bigger than yourself. It's about experimenting, learning, and above all, enjoying the journey. Be curious, ask your questions, share your thoughts, and if you feel inspired, don't hesitate to join in. The more diverse the participation, the richer the outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Avni, for such a wonderful introduction. Now for the session you all have been waiting for. Now, even after this session, I would recommend you guys stick around to the end. There are a lot of swags and goodies waiting for you. So, without a further ado, I would like to invite our very special guest, Google Summer of Code 25's mentor and DevRel engineer at Kaploy, Mr. Aman Bhati.
Hello, hi guys. Is it audible? Let me know in the chat box if it is audible. Yes, sir. People are calling me sir here. Uh, just for your kind information, in corporate or in open source in general, we don't call people sir or ma'am. We just call each other by name. Bhaiya bhi mat bolo yaar. Just call me Aman. You can call me Aman. Yeah. So yeah, before we get started, I would like to get a bit of context before because in software development in general and in anything in general, I think it is better to have a bit of clarity to have a better grip on things. So a bit of context that I would like to know about is what is the audience we are having today. How many of you are from the very first year of college? You can raise your hand. कोई नहीं क्या भाई? Anyone from second year of college? Oh, quite a lot, I guess. Hmm. Anyone from the third year? Second. Anirban is from second year. Hi, Anirban. Hi, Ayush. Yep. Anyone from the third year? So I guess most of you are from the second year, right? Yeah. So the reason why I asked you this question is because then, when you talk about college students, it is like a bit of a thing. Let's just say that the majority of crowd is from first year. So people don't really know about what Git and GitHub is, what open source is. So since I presume most of you are from second year, we'll try and keep the session a bit of, mediate level so that, you have a bit of knowledge about Git and GitHub. And if you don't, it is fine. I'll talk about Git and GitHub. I'll talk about open source. I'll talk about how to contribute to open source, what is GSOC, and how you can actually earn using open source, and how you can get into the industry and get a job, by sticking into open source. That sounds cool, right? Yeah. So before we get started, can we have a little bit of cheering for MLSA in the chat box? You guys can write MLSOP in the chat. And the reason why I'm asking you to do so because it is a Saturday. I'm a corporate slave, and I'm coming right from a party. And if I'm doing this session for you, I expect a little bit of energy from you as well. MLSA FTW, absolutely, absolutely. Yep. So I think we're good to go. Just a minute. Let me know if my screen is visible to you guys. Is it? Adarsh, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, it's visible.
So yeah, so this will be a pretty short kind of a session so that you guys know about open source, you know about Git and GitHub and how you can actually contribute to it. We won't dive very deep into it because the people from MLSA are pretty talented enough to tell you about that as well. So yeah, we'll start with open source and Git and GitHub. So before we move ahead, I think I should kind of introduce myself as well. So hello everyone, I am Aman Bhati. I am a DevRel engineer and a GSOC 25 mentor at Keploy. So in this session, I have mentored 3 projects. All of them were medium to high level of projects in Keploy. My role at Keploy is pretty much about the front end. Everything that you see on the Keploy website or the pillar pages or any other website is more more about owned by me. The entire ownership is owned by me, and apart from that I also educate people about open source, about APIs, about backend development and everything. So yeah, let's get started. So this session is going to be about Git and GitHub. We'll talk about what is GitHub, who made it and why that person made it. Then we'll talk about why do we need Git and why is it important, how to use Git and use Git commands. That is something I think the people from MLSA will be talking about. So we'll talk about what is GitHub, not just the bookish terminologies that you can learn in the classes as well. We'll talk about the importance and the relevance in the industry that we as a software developer or a developer engineer follow on a regular basis. Then we will talk about a very common myth, that is the difference between Git and GitHub and how to use them together. And then we will talk about a bit of examples where practical learning takes place and how people work on big projects like a team. Sounds good? If that sounds good, let's have something else in the chat box. Let's write Adarsh Soap in the chat. Anyone's writing or not? Adarsh to खुद तो लिख दे भाई अपना नाम. मैं भी लिख देता हूँ. Yo, sounds good. Yeah, let's get started then. Yeah. So what is Git and who made it and why? So do you guys see this guy standing next to his workplace? You know who this guy is? We'll write in the chat box who this guy is. If you guys know him, by any chance? नाम लिखा हुआ है यार उसका. Linus. Yeah, so yeah, that Linux guy, the guy who made Linux, right? So this is Linus. He made Linux as well as Git. So when we talk about Linux and Git, these are the 2 most commonly used and most important software in the industry. And there was this one single guy, this guy who's standing next to his small workspace. Yeah, this is the guy behind all the software, the most important software in the software industry. So what is Git? Git when we talk about Git, you can think about it like a version control system. Let's just say that you are working on a project, right? And you want to store a lot of code, but you can't really store your code in just your file manager or in your computer every time, right? You can't just keep on making files like code ka folder one, code ka update two, and so on, right? You need some sort of a system that you can segregate everything in one single place, right? So Git is when this is when Git comes into the picture, right? It helps you track your changes in your code, every time you work on the code. So let's just say that on day one, you started working on a project, but on day two, you started from where you stopped on day one, right? And when you started doing so on day two, everything crashed. And now you want to go back to the previous version that you had on day one. And you feel like, अरे यार, इतना कुछ ट्राई किया मैंने, सब फट गया, सब थोड़ा सा खराब हो गया. At least I should have the ability to get back to the previous stable version. So this is the most important use case of Git, that you can actually track your changes and get back to the desired version of your code. So Git is kind of distributed, fast, and secure, and open source. And when we talk about open source, it is more like the code is visible to the public. Code is open to all. You guys can come, read the code, contribute to it, understand the code, raise issues for the same, and you can actually also solve them as well. So why do we need Git? As I talked about this example, right? You started working on a project that you felt like would hack NASA using HTML, but it couldn't do so. So you had a lot of motivation on day one. You started working on it. You had like 50% of the project done and dusted, right? And on day two, you started working on it again. And all of a sudden, everything crashed. And now, instead of solving these issues, since you have a lot of issues piled up, you want to get back to the previous stable version of the code, right? So what you would just do is use Git. Git is more like a control plus Z for your entire code base. So coding, without Git is like writing college essay notepad with no save history. You would just simply write in the notepad all of your code, and the next day you would have nothing there left, and you will write it from scratch again. So this is kind of a messed up, right? And there should be a system that that helps you organize your code properly in such a way that you can always have the context of what you did last time, and you can actually share it with people as well. So you can't go back, you can't collaborate, and one wrong change would result into an absolute disaster without Git. So Git saves every single snapshot of your code. Let's just say that on day one you made 30% of your project, right? And now you save 30% of your project, and when you start coding your project on day two, you have the 30% of your code saved in using Git. You can have it on a platform like GitHub. So like 30% of your code is saved on that platform, and now that you get back to the code on day two, and let's just say everything messes up and you want to get back to the previous stable version, you can actually get back to the 30% of your project that you have done. So this is kind of a blessing that we have. We should be grateful that we have tools like Git and GitHub. Otherwise we would have stuck in this loop forever. You would break things and won't be able to get back to it, to the previous version. So this is how Git is very helpful for you, and more, and it is more about a skill that as a software developer or anyone in the software industry, regardless of what domain you're pursuing, whether it is web development, app development, or anything in general, Git and GitHub are the two most important skills and tools that you need to know about. So yeah, let's just talk about GitHub next. So anyone who knows about GitHub here, किसी को पता है GitHub क्या होता है? You can write in the chat box any short form or any short description that you know about. Yeah, GitHub does sound like a website that has HUB as well, pretty identical, but it is not the same. We store something else there. It is about code here. For contribution, Herschel says that it is for contribution. Yeah, precisely correct. किसी को और आइडिया नहीं है GitHub क्या होता है? Why do we use it? Collaboration, yeah, contribution, collaboration, kind of a same thing. Okay, you guys are precisely correct, where companies can store their code base and collab as a team. That is also a precise definition. one correction here I would make is not just necessarily companies, you can do it as an individual as well. So now I will just tell you the better definitions about Git and GitHub. So let's just say that you are on a vacation like me and you click a lot of pictures. But if you are storing everything in local, it is more like, you're messing up with your device. You're messing up with your device storage. And in case of pictures, it is like hardly 600 KB to 1 MB or even 4 MB. So you put it on a platform like Google Drive, right? So that you can store it inside a folder on Google Drive and you can access it from anywhere. It could be public, it could be private, so that you can share it with your friends as well. And when you share a drive with someone, a friend of yours, that person can actually access it and contribute to it as well. Let's just say that five of my friends are on a trip and all of us are clicking pictures and we want every picture from everyone's phone on a single place. So what I would do is just simply create a drive folder and share it with my 4 of my friends, or either make it public and share the link. So what we'll do is just entire trip cup pictures we'll put inside one single folder so that everyone can access it, everyone can contribute to it, and everything is a bit organized. So GitHub is something like that only, but the only difference here is that you know on Google Drive we were doing it for media, we were doing it for videos, or we were doing it for let's just say pictures. But in case of GitHub, we are doing it for code. So let's just say that you're writing a lot of code in any of your tech stack. It could be TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, or anything in the world. So you can store it on GitHub. It serves like a platform where you can store your code as well. Yeah, one hack I would tell you about is that GitHub also serves as a media storage. This is some sort of hack that I've been using since my Google Drive was running out of space. So what I did was just simply created a repository on GitHub, made it private, and uploaded all my pictures there. Don't try this at home because this is not very ethical. But yeah, that was a cool fact that I wanted to share. So let's just say that on GitHub, I want to store a lot of code, right? Let's just say that I'm working as a team of 5 people. I am trying to build Instagram so that a lot of Gen Zs and a lot of Gen Alphas can sit on their bed and brain rot, scroll through brain rot news, right? So I am making an app like Instagram, but I can't do it alone, right? There must be a team of 20 to 25 people at least. So everyone is working on the entire project simultaneously, right? But everyone might not be working on the same feature at the same time, right? So what I'll just do is I'll just simply create a repository on GitHub. A repository is more like a folder where you store your code. So I would just simply create a repository on GitHub and name it as Instagram.com, or maybe let's just give it some other name. Yeah, brainrotreels.com, right? So what I'll do is I'll just simply share the entire code base with my team, and everyone can work on the same project simultaneously. And when people are working on different features, they would use a concept called as branching that is offered by GitHub. So branching is more like, let's just say I'm working on a feature called as Instagram stories, and others is working on a feature called as Instagram post, right? So what I'll do is I'll go to GitHub, I'll go to my repository, I'll create two branches, one for Instagram stories and the other one for the Instagram post. So I would push all, upload all of my code into the branch that is named as Instagram stories, and others would put all of his code that is oriented with Instagram post in his specific branch. We won't do it directly to the repository. We would be doing it on some sort of a testing that is, a branch that we created. If we do it directly in the repository, there would be a lot of conflicts, everyone's code at a single place. And, when a lot of people are working simultaneously on a lot of things, there are a lot of chances that things might get crashed and conflict. So to avoid such things, we use some sort of a best practice that is making branches for testing, for staging, for deployment, and so on. So yeah, I hope you're getting a bit of idea how important GitHub is. Without GitHub, life would be so difficult. GitHub to software developers is more like that one friend who puts your proxy in your classes, right? So yeah, if you're, uh, kind of thinking of becoming a very good developer or a software engineer, GitHub is something that you should definitely try. So So GitHub is more like cloud home for your Git repositories. You can collaborate, contribute, and show off your work. Since I talked about repositories and teams working on it simultaneously, right? There are cases when people like me who just simply work on project and they want to showcase it to the world, not just the project but also the code behind it, the best practices that I follow to write the code behind it, so that everyone can access it, so that I can share it with the world. So what I'll do is I'll just simply create a repository on GitHub and put all of my code inside there, right? So GitHub is more like a remote platform that hosts your Git repositories online. Repository is more like a folder for your code. So one myth that is Git is not equal to GitHub. Git is the engine and GitHub is the garage where people see your car. I can give you one more example here. Let's just say that I've clicked a lot of pictures on a trip that I am. So I'm trying to upload it to Instagram. So what I'll do is I'll just go to my gallery. I would select the pictures that I like, which don't really look nice, but I feel so because I'm delusional. So I'll just pick these pictures. I will upload it to Instagram. So while uploading, there would be a lot of steps. That is, first is going to Instagram, writing a caption, and then posting it. This is more like a simple process. But in terms of code, these steps, that selecting a particular file, then writing a caption for it, and then uploading it, we use Git for that purpose. We would use commands like git add to pick particular folder or file, and then write a commit message or like a caption, and then upload it to Instagram. And in this case, this could be GitHub as well, where we post everything. So yeah, this is more like steps that you use Git and GitHub simultaneously. These are not the two same things. These are more like two important tools that you use simultaneously. Yep. Yeah, by the way, am I boring you guys? Like, are you feeling bored? If not, then let's have someone else's name and write OP in front of their name. Let's write Atul OP in the chat if you are enjoying this session till now. Also, we'll have a short 2 to 5 minutes of Q&A at the end. So yeah, you guys can think of questions that you want to ask to me. I will take upon the chat box as well. You guys have any questions till now? Anything? Quick. Any questions in general? No, and I'll take the Q&As at the end. So yeah, what is a GitHub repository? So since I mentioned it in the previous slide as well, oops, I think I accidentally clicked on exit button. Just give me a minute. I will get back. Is my screen visible? Adarsh, can you confirm once?
No. Yeah.
Okay,
Visible.
just a minute. अरे यार ये तो मैं बस ब्रेक ले रहा था, बग नहीं है, फीचर है मेरा ये, so that you guys can rest a little between the session. Cool. Is it visible now? Yep. So talking about what is a GitHub repository, since I mentioned about it in the previous slide as well. So it is more like a folder for your code source and everything. I won't get back to it because you guys will get bored and you'll feel like this is a college class going on. So let's talk about what is a GitHub organization. So an organization is a collection of repositories that belong to a team or a company. This could be a very small startup. It could be a very big MNC like Meta. It could be about NASA. It could be, any organization in general. So what organizations do is they make their code open source, so that, let's just say that I have a team of 20 people and we work on our organization's code, but we might sometimes need help from others as well. We might sometimes want others to contribute to it as well, so that there's a bit of education and what do we call it, inspiration in the community. So what we'll do is we'll just simply create an organization where we'll put all of our code and you guys can come and contribute to it and read from it or even learn from it. It lets you organize and collaborate with multiple people under a single account. For example, let's just take the example of Deploy. So I work at Keploy, and all of our code base is mostly open source. So we make AI powered testing agents, right? So like when you're making such a big tool, people would expect, this is such a secret thing to have. Why would you share it with people? Trust me, it is not easy to, replicate everything from scratch, even if you have the entire source code. But it is okay. You guys can take a look at my code base and you can contribute to it as well. And people do contribute to it as well, because if you go to the repository, there are a lot of issues listed and a lot of people contribute to it as well. So Keploy is one. There are a lot of big companies like NASA. I can show you the GitHub of NASA as well. NASA, GitHub. Yep. So NASA is also on GitHub. Uh, every time you feel like you want to, get involved in a very big organization like NASA, or let's just say that you want your code to be, shown on NASA's some of the websites, you guys can simply go to their organization and you can pick a repository, go to the issues, and maybe try to solve those issues. And if you solve these issues and you get your pull request merged, you are officially a participant who actually coded for NASA, who has contributed in terms of code to NASA. So when you talk about organizations on GitHub, this is something that not a lot of people talk about. People, especially in college, they seek for placements from on-campus companies. They feel like, let's just get hired and then start working. There are cases where you can actually learn a skill, go and contribute to big organizations. That is actually a very good cheat code to get hired. Let's just say that you go to Keploy's open source repo and you keep on contributing for, let's just say, 2 to 3 weeks, and it actually turns out to be very good, and you might get hired as well. So this is something I want you to keep in mind, that GitHub is not just for the sake of making yourself visible on GitHub. It is also about using what you have learned, using your knowledge in practical terms. Let's just say that you learned JavaScript and you actually want to solve a problem. You guys can go search on ChatGPT or Gemini that, hey, I learned these things on YouTube about JavaScript, and now I want to contribute to it. So yeah, this is how you can figure out like how you can contribute and make your skills actually visible to the public. So this is what we call building in public. When you're like, let's just say that you're learning a skill, I know that you learned a skill, you're master at it, you know that you mastered it, but how would others know? So when you build in public, or when you go and contribute to open source organizations, instead of looking for opportunities, you're attracting them. So this is something I want you guys to take very personally and pursue it if possible. So yeah, I think that is what I wanted to talk about. And apart from that, I wanted to talk about a few open source programs that you guys might be interested in. Why? Because you're getting paid for it. Pretty simple and straightforward. Let's just say, like, in the chat box, I would like to know, have you guys heard about GSOC, the Google Summer of Code? Right, GSOC. Okay, just write yes if you've heard of it. Yeah, Herschel has heard of it. Akriti did. Swayam did. Adarsh, of course. Anvesha, yeah. So a lot of people know about GSOC, right? But there's a lot of revolution left to be done in college, especially, that people do know that there is something kind of known as GSOC, where you can go contribute to open source and get paid for the same. But there are a lot of open source programs that are being happened. Let's just say, for example, there's an open source program done by LFX. There's one open source program done by Keploy as well. We did an API fellowship and we actually hired people from the same. So there are a lot of programs that you can participate in. For example, let's just say that you want to participate on, let's just say, yeah, let's just say that you want to participate for GSOC 2026. So what you would do is you just simply go to GSOC's official website and see all the organizations listed there, and you start going to their open source repositories and contribute to them and raise a proposal for the same. If your proposal gets accepted, you would be onboarded for a 4-month program where you will be working on a project that would be mentored by experts that are working on in that organization already. They would guide you for the same. You would be making a project from scratch, and you would be getting paid for the same as well. And if you guys don't know, people underestimate GSOC a lot. because people think that GSOC is just like for the sake of a tag. But if you search for the price money of GSOC, do you know how much it is? I'll just show you on Google. GSOC price money. Yep. So you get stipend for the same, and it depends upon what kind of a project that you're working on, whether it is a project, it is a medium project, or it is a very big project. So in Kepler, we had like 6 projects on GSOC, and most of them were medium to high level, and most of the people got paid very well. And apart from that, they also got hired at Keploy. So we had 6 projects, and out of those 6 people, 5 of them are working at Keploy now, and most of them are students from third year. So when people are fighting for on-campus placements in their fourth year, you could be proactive and maybe apply to open source projects and programs and get hired even before thinking about placements. And the best thing is that you get a stipend as well, you get to contribute as well, you get to do things practically and get hired as well. So yeah, that is pretty much about it. I would like to end my speaker session note on a very positive note. I want you guys to take inspiration in terms of contributing to open source. Not just, I'm not saying this because I belong to a community that is open source. I want you to explore. Let's just say that you learned a skill that might not be relevant to deploy, but let's just say that you learned a skill. A very good process to master a skill is to actually do things practically. You learn a skill, you try to practically implement things. So what you do is just find an open source repository that is pretty much famous, or let's just say that makes your work visible. Go and contribute to it. Even if you feel like that is a very small thing that you're doing, but trust me, the open source community is very friendly, and they want you to build yourself. They want you to, they would encourage you to do things. So yeah, that's pretty much from my end. We'll just have a short 3 to 5 minute of Q&A. If you guys have any questions, you guys can ask in the chat box, and we'll hand over the things to the legends of MLSA. Siddharth is asking, how can I find suitable projects that align with my tech stack? That is Kotlin. So this is relevant for everyone else as well. Let's just say that Siddharth is looking for a project that is relevant for Kotlin. So what I would do is I'll just simply show you. So let's just say that Siddharth wants to go and look for open source repos that are based on Kotlin. I would just simply search on GitHub Kotlin project, and it would actually show me the trending repositories that are based on Kotlin. So you see all of the repositories that are famous, or good repositories to contribute on uh, using the tech stack Kotlin. You would get all the list here. And apart from that, let's just say I click on any of this repo, and you click on this language Kotlin. It would also show you the language that is being used, and you would see all the code that is related to Kotlin, and all the repositories and packages and commits and pull requests related to Kotlin. So yeah, so that is like just a Google search away thing. Next question is, what's the best way to identify companies that actively work with my tech stack? Could you please demonstrate a live example of this process? I think I actually did the same way that I looked for Kotlin repositories. So the repositories would belong to some organization, right? So you can filter them out according to the most famous ones. Interest engage vibe coding. As a GSOC mentor, would you encourage your interns to engage in vibe coding? This is a bit of controversial question, but I'll give you a good answer to this. So vibe coding is not a bad thing to do, to be honest, but it is very important as a software developer to climb the ladder of software development. And when you're on your initial steps, it is important that you climb each and every step. You should not take shortcuts. But when you've climbed enough steps, it is okay to take some shortcuts by then. Because let's just say that you're vibe coding about something and it breaks. You would need some sort of a knowledge about the same to fix it, right? You cannot entirely depend upon AI. So in my opinion, what you should do is just have a good grip on the basics and then move to vibe coding. You should have enough confidence to, feel like, yeah, I am someone who can fix the code given to me by the AI. As a mentor, what key qualities or attributes would you like look for an ideal intern? To be honest, if you're talking about GSOC, I would see if that person is actively, trying to contribute, at least trying to contribute in my organization. And the second thing is, when I'm giving some sort of feedback, is that person taking it on a positive note and actually trying to implement it? Yeah, Siddharth has asked a lot of questions to me. My interviewer did not ask these many questions to me, to be honest. Let's pick someone else's question. How can I build a portfolio for cybersecurity if I have little or no prior experience? Are there any GSOC organizations? For GSOC organizations on cybersecurity, I can't recall the names, but yeah, you can search it up on GSOC's official website. And if you're building a portfolio for cybersecurity, and if you are a beginner, I would recommend you to join events and programs like DEF CON is one, and the other capture the flag kind of events. You should go participate in online events and on-site events as well. And if you're making a portfolio, I would suggest you to focus on the skills that are most relevant in the industry, and try to build this in public and tell people that yeah, I am working on this, so that others are aware as well. Others, are we running out of time for you guys? If yes, I think
If you want to take more questions, if there are any more questions, then
to them, if these guys want to ask any questions. Just don't ask how many girlfriends I had in college, because I had zero. Sad life.
relatable.
Cool. I think any other questions in general? Anything? Yeah, by the way, if you guys don't know, I am also from your college itself. I am from KIIT. I graduated, I guess, 6 days ago on 28th. Cool. Never mind. That was just a random fact that I wanted to tell you. Cool. I think others can take forward this session. If you guys liked it, you can write Keploy OP in the chat this time. I would like to take a bit of credit this time instead of giving it to others and everyone else.
I think Siddharth wants to know about your developer life. What it looks
Developer
like.
life. To be honest, for a person like me who does not have a very good social life, it is good as it is. But if you're someone who wants a balance, to be honest, it is good to touch some grass rather than just sticking with your laptop. It is good to go ahead and explore different fields. Like apps like what that called Humble, Bumble, जो भी बोलते हैं उसको वो सभी थोड़ा explore कर लो. And yeah, you can also try and pick a hobby, like sports could be one, cultural could be one. I would highly recommend that. Yeah, I think you guys can continue now. You guys have any questions to in general about development, about any domain in general? It could be cybersecurity, app dev, or anything. You guys can ping me on LinkedIn or maybe on Slack as well. I would drop my LinkedIn here if you guys want to connect and ask questions. Yep. So yeah, it was great talking to you folks. I really hope to see you again. Till then, I'll take a leave. Over to you, Adarsh.
Thank you so much for such a fun and interactive session. It was really an honor to have you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So now that you guys are aware of open source and what Git and GitHub is, I guess you guys want to have a little bit of hands-on experience with it. So without further ado, I'll be calling upon Aman to take over and walk you through, guys, with your first contribution, maybe.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
So Bhaiya already told you about Git and GitHub. I think that was enough. And so I would like to add something. Git is like a time machine for your code. To understand it better, imagine your project is a big Lego castle. Every day you add few pieces, fix things, and try crazy experiments. Git is your smart Lego notebook, right? That remembers every single change. So I'll just break down some few terms to you. Git repository. Okay, so Git repository is like your Lego castle or storage box. What it does is basically where it is where all your project and files and history are where it lives. Okay, so your commit is like taking a photo of your castle, And what does it do? Say it saves your work, so you can go back anytime. If you want to revert back to the previous version, you can revert it back. You don't have to write the same code again and again. It saves a lot time. So there is also branches, like building different wings of the main castle. It lets you try different kind of features safely, without breaking the main code. And pull is like checking if your friend built a new Lego wings. It helps you update your local castle with their latest changes. And push is like showing your friend your wings that you built. It's like sending your changes to the main castle online. So these are the basic things which I thought would be useful for you. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Just give me a moment. Okay, guys, is it visible? Is
Yep.
my screen visible? Yep. So first of all, I would like you to just go on this website, as this website is the official one. You can just download it. You can download the Git from here. You can see the download for Windows option. You can download it for Macs and Linux also. And also, if you want to learn something more, or if you want some cheat sheet, you can just get it from here. As you can see, this is the Git cheat sheet to start a new repo, to clone existing repo. You will get it all from here. There are video links. There are like, what is it? And there are external links too. So this is a cool website. You should definitely check it out. Now, starting with our GitHub thing, I'll just go to the GitHub. As you can see, you can sign up or on yourself. I have already my account here. So this is my basic GitHub account. You will see our dashboard here. You'll see a pop-up option. There's home. There are issues, pull requests, projects, discussion, and etc. So this is the space where you can just find owners and repositories. Like, if I want to just find an owner, I can just go to here, and you can check this, and you can check his profile in the GitHub. Just like that. Here's the Copilot. You can definitely merge it with your VS Code and try it out. Then there's, and now we will basically work with this. First of all, I'll like to show you how can we create our own new repository, as it is a very important function, and this is the main function of it. So I'll give it a name. Let's create a new repository. So here, and you can add any description, like git repository for the project. You can choose the visibility. I am keeping it public right now, and you can create the repository. It's very basic. Let it be created, and you can see this is the link for our repository. Right now, we'll just copy it. It will be used. I'll show you where it will be used. So let's just copy it right now. We'll go to our VS Code, as most of you are working on VS Code. We can also check it on terminal too. Let me just show you for once. You can just use your terminal. You can go to a command prompt, type git. If you type git and this is showing, that means git is installed in your system. So it should be installed. And right now, let's just check if we have anything right now. Git remote /p. This is a command which shows you this is a command basically. It shows what are the remote repositories connected to your local system, and also the URLs. So this is the fetch and push one. I'll explain you what are these. So right now, let's work with our VS Code. So I have a repository here. This is my repository which I have created. If you want, now this is an empty repository. I'll just copy this link here and I'll clone this repository. Though I don't have anything right now, I'll just clone it right now. To clone any repository from the GitHub, you just have to type git clone and you'll have to give the link. Now this will clone it here, but this is giving you a warning that you appear to have cloned an empty repository. So there is nothing right now in our repository. So what I'll do is I'll create a very basic README file. So a README file is a MD file. It's a markdown file .md, and it includes the basic flow and basic instructions for our project. So let's just create a readme file, readme.md. and I'm just writing it hello here. So this is a readme file, and these are some instructions. Now I'll just keep it straight. I want to push this file. This is our local environment right down here, and I want to push it to a system which is a central repository on the GitHub. So how I will do it? So first of all, I'll have to add a remote origin link. Okay, so I'll have to link it with this repo here. So I'll keep this code right. So I'll keep this link here. It's copied. And first of all, the thing which I'll do is I'll add a so I'll go to terminal, and I'll write this code: git remote add origin. Now, what is this origin? I'll tell you later, and I'll just copy it. So you can see the remote origin already exists in my terminal, but you can just copy it if it doesn't exist in yours. So basically it is added. I have this file right down here, and I have to push it. So first of all, I'll add this file for staging. Staging is like marking the file, or like just pinging the file which needed to be committed. So I'll just do git add dot. Dot is to mark all the files present which we are working on right now. But if we want to add a particular file, we can just write its name, readme.md. So as you can see, it is added. I could have also done git add dot. You can do both of the things. As you can see, it's already added, so it's fatal. So it's added files failed, so it's showing that here. I'll just now commit this file. So in order to commit it, you have to type git commit /m, and you have to just give a note here. So this is my initial commit. So as you can see, this is committed, and one file changed, and there's one insertion. In order to check what has happened, you can just type git logs, and git log, and it will show you the log. As you can see, the author, this is the commit. So this is the basically commit SSH key. So this is unique for every commit, and it is same everywhere, where you are working on your local system or whether you are working on your main system. So it is common for everywhere, and it doesn't changes. So you can see the date, you can see the author it is the initial commit right down here. So now what I'll do is I push this thing to our main repository, which is there. So I'll just type git push. This is the push command, and I'll go to the origin, and I'll type main. Yeah, so it's happening. I think there was a bit issue of conflict issue. So it is resolved. As you can see, the file is pushed. So this file is pushed here, as you can see. Sorry for the issue right down here. If if you are facing these kind of issues, what you can do is if you can take the help from the command options. So you can just type any command, git push and /h. So it will give you various kind of commands and prompts which you can use to write the further code if you're having any issues or if you're stuck here. So our file is basically pushed here, right down here. And if we want to check the branches, so there are multiple branches in our system. So if we want to check what are the branches, we just write the git branch command, and we can see that we have one main branch here. If we want to add any branch, we can use the command git branch feature. Let me just add one branch which name is feature. So this is one branch which is added. Now if I check it, git branch, so I can check that there are two branches. One is feature, one is main. And asterisk means that main is our main branch. Like currently we are working with this branch. So we can also see that which is our main branch, which with another command, git branch -- show current. It will show our current branch. So you can also check it by through this. And in order to move to a new branch, we have to just write this command, git branch git checkout, and our branch name, which is currently feature. So I am switched to this branch. This is our new branch. Now, if I want to make a commit here, or if I want to make a pull, like if I want to make a commit and push it down into this new branch, what I'll do is like I'll try to make a basic, very basic text file. I'll just now write demo.txt. I'll just write hello here. And I want to make a commit in this particular branch. So I'm currently working with this branch. I'll just show you. This is my branch here, and I'll add this file currently for staging. Get add demo.txt. And basically this is now staged. Now I'll make a commit here. Git commit. Just wait, give me a moment. Git commit /m featured. So basically this is committed here on the featured branch. So I'll now push it to our main repository, but the branch which is selected is featured right now. So I'll do the same steps. As you can see, you can just type it and you can see this is the origin. Right now we are working with the main. So before we were working with the main branch. Right now I want to push it to the feature branch. So basically I'll go to the new branch and I'll try to push it. So as you can see, it is pushed. And then right now you can see that this feature has recent pushes. So this is our new branch, which we worked on. And basically you can edit a title, you can give some descriptions here. You can also create a pull request. Now coming to the pull request, imagine there are multiple repositories, which I currently have. I'll go to my first repository and I want to create a pull request right now. So what is a pull request? As I already explained you, if you want to, if you are already working with a like repository or you're working on a project and there are multiple people working on that project. Now assume that somebody updated the code and you want the new updated version. So you just make a pull request here. So for that, you can go here. You can just create any new like pull request and it will be done. So you have to basically create a new pull request in that. This is my repository and that's how you can do it. So it's a basic thing. One more thing, when you are going and when you are working with this, you have to check the basic settings of your repo, that what is the basic settings, whether it is public or not, as I already told you, because it is very important when you are working with that. And this column here is very important because you can check all your unread notifications, or all of your notifications are here. And this is your basically profile. There are multiple options, as you can check out. There is also status, and this is the settings. This is bio. You can update your profile and you can do some cool stuff here. So that's all for your hands-on experience. There were some ups and downs, but I think that will also get you all a better overview in this. So you'll be facing some kind of issues also, but you can also always resolve it. And I think that was it for my part. Thank you.
Uh, thank you so much, Aman. And don't worry about the issues. It keeps happening, you know. So in fact, this is one of the benefits of Hacktoberfest. Before you contribute to an official organization, you can actually try contributing to our repos that we'll be going over very pretty soon. So you can try yourself. You can get a feel for it before you start diving into GSOC, Keploy, and other organization. So moving ahead, I guess we'll be talking about some of the projects and repositories that we have for you guys to get to try and contribute and get a feel for it.
Yeah, so I'll take over now. Adarsh, thank you for the intro. Well, hi guys, I'm Ankur Diwan from cybersecurity team from Microsoft LSA. and we have something in store for you. Uh, so just let us get the slides running. Now, if you ever worked in security or cybersecurity, both are same, you know the pain. You run your 50th Nmap scan of the week, or you're trying to enumerate subdomains. You get cold, and then you have to do it all again and again and again. Just like our dreaded college classes, which are, by the way, starting on 8th. It's like deja vu, but less exciting. That's where Raven comes in. Rapid Raven comes in, and it's like a personal intern. Think of it like it, except this one doesn't complain, doesn't ask for a raise, and actually gets the job done. So what we've done is we've created a hub for many scripts, and we've structured these projects into different folders based on different categories, which Arpit will show you on the GitHub repo that we have in store for you. Arpit, can you please show us the repo? As you can see in the script section, we have categorized into different subfolders. We have crypto, we have enumerations, exploitation, OSINTs, payloads, and scanning. Now, for example, I want to make a contribution in the scanning department. So I decide to make a port scanners script. And as you can see, luckily my PR got merged and you can see the port scanner script. So as you can see, and if you click on the port scanner.py, you'll see the code. And don't worry if you don't know what port scanner is. Since once you start working on it, you'll get to know it. Now, and the real magic, because think of it like this, because if you throw everything in one folder called scripts, you'll spend more time looking for tools than actually using them. This way, you know exactly where to find what you need and where to drop in your contribution when you've built something new. And in order to organize all of this, as you can see on the screen, we have main.sh. Think of it in a simple example like a DJ at a party. It takes requests, knows where all the tracks are. Now think of the music tracks as your scripts that you'll be making contributions on. And these are stored and he plays them on demand. So if, for example, if I'm working on my, let's say an attack I want to do somewhere and I want to do a quick nmap scan, I go one nmap scan done. It's as quick as that. So instead of hunting through folders, you just run main.sh and boom, instant access to all the tools. So now moving back to the slides. Moving now, next slide, please. Yeah. So for the overall project overview that you'll be working with, the tech stack will be Python and Bash to make your life and our life easier. And now moving on to the overall scripts and how these all subfolders will be working, I'd like to hand over the DJ tag and I mean over the torch to Arpit.
Okay, fine. So I'm Arpit and I'm a part of cybersecurity domain, and I will be moving further on with the script categories you just explained up to you now. So first of all, we are performing scanning, looking for weaknesses in networks and systems. We all are connected in network with devices, and that's why we are able to communicate with each other. Okay, and the scripts that check for open ports, misconfigurations, or outdated settings. There are total of 65,535 default ports present on a system. There is a tool called Nmap, and that allows you to scan or find the open ports on a system on a tag domain name or an IP address. So basically, I will show you in my virtual machine. I have already scanned a school website on for port scanning, and we have used a particular some features, and we got the open ports like TCP 21, web server 80 running the website which is running on, and a lot of other ports that allow multiple functionalities for a website or a domain. Now, moving on to the next part, open source intelligence. We all like to gather information from public sources and scrap and fetch data as much as we can. Information can be extracted from file, web pages, or web server. Example, Nmap, Sublister, and EXIF tool. Nmap is also a part of open source intelligence as it all allows to gather information about a particular system and the ports or networks which is running on it. So I will be covering EXIF tool on this particular slide and show you an interesting thing. Just look at this photo. So this is a photo. I won't mind if you don't think about the photo. I will be extracting location from this picture. And to do this, I will use the EXIF tool. So basically, I will just type EXIF tool and I will type the image. One second. Okay, and I will just type the image name, and that will basically give you all the information, all the metadata present in the image. And as you can see, it has the GPS location and exact coordinates, and it is the right coordinates because I pranked on my friend and I got his location around Kolkata. And we can also see the model name. We also got the model name from it. The camera model name is or the phone is IQ Neo 6. Now, moving on to the next slide, we will talk about enumeration. Scripts that map domains, hosts, and services involve the detailed gathering of information about a target system. For example, subdomain brute forcing to discover hidden services. Suppose you have a website and you want to find out what subdomains are running on it. So I will be showing a demo to you, and I've already scanned the website tiangolo.com with a tool called sublister that allows you to find out the subdomains of the website. So basically, these are the results, and these are all the subdomains of that website that are running and are currently active. And this allows you to basically enumerate and get deeper into the information. So moving on to the next slide, we have payloads, the harmful code that performs the damage once it's on the system. Payload is delivered by a separate mechanism like a phishing email or an exploit in a software vulnerability. The payload mechanism works like you deliver a payload, a malicious code with an exploit attached on it, or maybe itself it is like an exploit. And if the victim or the user executes that file, then he gets the complete access to his system, and that comes into the action part. Moving on to the next slide, the complete exploitation part, a sequence of commands or a technique that takes advantage of a vulnerability in a system. It can be used to perform malicious actions such as gaining unauthorized access, installing malware, stealing data, or causing denial of service. There is a very popular tool among the cybersecurity professionals and penetration testers that is known as Metasploit, and it basically covers all the exploits available up till the date and auxiliary modules that allow that also does the work of nmap up to some extent. And you can see there are also payloads available on this system. Some examples of these are remote code execution, SQL injection, privilege escalation. These are examples of exploitation methods. Now, moving on to cryptography, the practice of secure communication and data protection using algorithms to encode and decode information. Cryptography mechanism works like if you want to encrypt a plain text, you can use different algorithms to encrypt in the ciphertext like SHA-256, MD5, and much more that allows you to convert plain text into ciphertext and make it secure. And just the opposite is done by the decryption part. Now, moving on to the next slide, I would like Ankur to explain the key features and user benefits of this project.
Thank you so much for the wonderful demo on stock. I mean, not stalking. I mean, OSINT and other and other exploitations of it. And so this structure that we've made helps us achieve what you could call in jargon terms modular design. And this is open to everyone and it's Hacktoberfest ready. So moving on to the next slide. By the way, you guys know, right, that in order to complete your Hacktober quest, you need to make a total of 6 completed PRs. And on your completed PR looks something like this in the image, the ticks and ticks, which I hope you all will get once you start contributing in there. And moving on to the next slide. But I'm sorry, I don't think you heard me. Yeah. So that is where we end our presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure to start the repo once we share the link with you, and fork it, work on it, give and let us have the PRs. And if you feel like you want to add something, there's always the new issue button. And I hope you hit your 6 PRs. Thank you so much for your time
And
and listening to us.
I will be waiting for exciting projects from your side. I will be
Yeah,
waiting
guys.
from really exciting projects from your side.
Yes. So thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much. This is me, Ankur, and that was Arpit from MLSA.
Hello, hi guys. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are. We can hear you.
Okay. Hello guys. This is Nakshatra. I'm from the cloud domain of MLSA X, and we are presenting to you a project and for Hacktoberfest, Compose Genie. Compose Genie is a web portal for automated, secure, and optimized Docker Compose files. Compose Genie is built to take the pain out of working with Docker Compose. It automatically pulls services from Docker Hub, checks the images for security issues, and looks out for common configuration problems like port conflicts or missing EVs. If it finds something serious, it even suggests safer images versions before you download anything. The idea is simple. Instead of wasting time troubleshooting, you can get a clean and reliable compose file right away. So you can stay focused on building your application. The tech stack we have used includes for the front end, we have used React 19, React Router 7, TypeScript, Tailwind CSS4, and White. The backend is built with Node.js and Express, handling Docker Hub integration, security scanning, validation, compose generation, and template management with MongoDB and PostgreSQL for storage. It also includes Winston structured logging. The microservices include Python Fast API for security scanning, Go for config validator, Node and Express for template generator, Redis, and PostgreSQL. Features. Well, the features of Compose Genie include ready-to-use Docker Compose files with proper formatting and structure, catching potential misconfigurations to reduce runtime errors, and suggest complementary services to help you build robust, compatible multi-service stacks. It also provides guidance for secure, efficient, and production-ready deployments, fetches official images direct from Docker Hub for easy service selection, and scan images for known vulnerabilities to keep your environment safe and reliable. So, well, the idea is basically simple. So this is where you can help the issues or the places where you can contribute. For the front end, contributors can build the dashboard page with placeholder cards, implement the service catalog with search filters and pagination, create reusable services cards, and detailed service views with metadata and actions. You could also add validation panels for misconfigurations, develop template management features, and ensure responsive layouts for mobile and tablet users. Moving into the backend part, on the backend, contributors can set up a Node.js and Express server with TypeScript, implement health and metric endpoints, create the Docker Hub integration service, build the compose generation endpoint. You can also validate endpoints and error handling. You can verify server scripts and setup and enforce code quality with ESLint, Prettier, and TypeScript checks. So basically, this is what you can contribute to it. The idea is very simple. You build a app API that helps you get automatic YML files, so you can focus on what is more important, your application. To know more about the rules and to walk through, you can check out Compose Genie on MLSA Kids GitHub. And yeah, thank you.
Okay. Hello, team.
Yeah, that was the cloud team, guys. Moving app team.
Okay. So, Utkarsh, can you present the PPT?
Yeah, just a second. Okay, let me present. Just give me a second. Okay, is it visible?
Yeah, we can see.
Yep, it works.
Okay. Just
Yes. Okay. So for app domain, we'll be working on K-Link, basically a social platform for university students. It will be more like Twitter, and it will be, yes, post, follows, unfollow, like, dislike, and all. For authentication, you can use our Google email ID and email passwords. You can post, you will have a feed, like, dislike, and profile, user post, follow, unfollow. Okay, what is exciting about this project? What is the what it keeps it out of the box? So it will connect the university students to talk with each other, share their thoughts and all. So on working this, you will be getting hands-on Flutter, Supabase, Express.js, and you will most importantly get open source experience. Working on open source is a opportunity, especially for GSOC. You already told, and best contributions will get the swags, the most important things. And the technologies we used for front end, we used Flutter for because it is a cross platform. It can you can do it on Android and iOS all. It is fast. UI is easy to design, modern UI. For backend, we use Supabase for database storage and Node.js Express for backend logic, and GitHub for collaboration, and Figma for design. From now, here, Ananya will take over.
Okay, guys. So let's talk about what's working for now. So authentication. Authentication works. Users can sign up and log in with both email and password. And we have set up a Google OAuth authentication system as well. So you can use that. The post lifecycle works. So you can create posts, view them, like them, delete, blah, 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 etc., etc. And user discovery. A basic search function exists. So you can find other users, but it's still a work in progress. So that's an issue. And now for the issues. So the first and most critical bug right now is profile creation. So profile creation fails intermittently when a new user signs up. For now we believe it's a race condition, and that's like highest priority right now. Some other bugs are the UI. So a comment system. Users cannot comment just yet, so that needs to be built upon. Profile editing. So users can update their username and bio, etc. stuff. Avatar uploads, those profile images things. So we will be using Cloudinary for that. So store user avatars in Cloudinary and then use that to display them on the app. And of course, the search feature, which is not perfect yet, so we need to fix that. Our development plan is we can move forward. Karsh. So you will be given a README for the project structure and how all the tech stack used, etc., Figma files and guidelines. There will also be a contribution.md markdown file you can use to see how to contribute on the project properly, what the rules and guidelines are. There's also a link for Figma, so you can use that to see what the UI looks like. Okay, if you're not familiar with the process to start with the project, make sure Flutter is set up. Flutter and NPM, because you'll be using Node and Express for it. So install that, use the Figma wireframes, clone the repository, download all the dependencies, and yeah, there will be an environment file. We'll share the necessary details for whoever picks app. Okay, next slide. You can see this, but of course, there will be contribution guidelines in the contributing.md markdown as well. Okay, keep this in mind. When you are contributing, create a new branch. Do not try and push to main. It will not work. Create a new branch and make a pull request. We will merge it if it's good. Next slide, please. Yeah, that's it. To summarize, most of the app is complete, but we're targeting to get it fully functional by the end of this month. So the project is obviously open source. You can get it from MLSA Kit, the organization. I hope to see you guys contribute to it. Good luck.
Yeah, excited to see.
All right, so we're going to begin the project discussion for the ML domain. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
All right. I hope I'm audible.
Yep.
All right. So, hello guys. My name is Sharbaka Goswami, and I'm going to be talking about the project that you guys can contribute to in AIML. Meet Pixley, your very own personal gaming assistant. Pixley is a one-of-a-kind desktop overlay that can give you game-specific instructions, search for guides, and strategies, all without you needing to leave the game. Let us talk about where the idea of the project came from. So, as you might know, when you're playing a single-player game, such as Black Myth, Wukong, or Elden Ring, and you get stuck at a particular level, and you have to search for a guide on how to beat that level, you close the game, you go to YouTube, you go to Google, and then the next thing you know is you spend the next 5 hours or so looking for hundreds of different articles or websites, trying to figure out one particular guide that can help you beat the boss. And even after all of that, you still mess it up. Well, what if there was a better way? What if there was a single knowledge base of curated guides and strategies? What if there was some AI assistant that automatically gives you contextually relevant and custom curated guides specific to that game? Well, Pixley can do that. Let us discuss how Pixley works by moving on to the project structure and architecture. Well, bear with me. Pixley is divided into 3 components: a desktop overlay, that is the front end, the backend server, and the ETL pipeline. Let us discuss how each of these components work together. So, the architecture. First, when the user interacts with the overlay, it sends all the chat requests to the backend. The backend then tries to identify the game that you're playing, and then once it detects the game, it tries to identify the type of query you're giving, and it requests the chroma, that is the vector database, for relevant snippets from different wikis, YouTube videos, or forum posts. Then it takes those retrieved snippets and they're added to the prompt to improve Gemini's response. If a screenshot is provided, it is included as a multimodal input to Gemini for visual context. And after all of that, the chatbot gives you a final answer. Let's talk about the tech stack. Now, I know it looks a bit overwhelming, so bear with me for a second. For the user interface, we're using a Pythonic library that is called custom tkinter. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of tkinter, but this is custom tkinter. And the difference is this is more modern, and it also provides options for theming and widgets. For our backend, we're using Fast API, that is the async Python web framework, and Ubicon as the server. The LLM that we're using is Google Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite. And the reason we're using the Lite model is because it doesn't give rate limiting. It has a very high response count. So if you want to get better responses, you can obviously switch to the Pro version as well. The vector database that we're going to be using is the Chroma Vector DB. It is a local vector database, and it is very persistent. And for the embedder, we're going to use the sentence transformers. The data is stored in a CSV file. Each game's data is stored in each of the CSV files, which contains the knowledge about that particular game. For screenshots, we're storing them in an encrypted SQLite database, and we're using Fernet library for encryption. Lastly, we're using some system libraries such as PESutil and Py-Win32. That is basically a Python backend for handling Win32 API for handling the window process and window information. Now let's talk about the desktop overlay. So again, this overlay always stays on top. So you can enable it once and then you don't have to worry about it. And you can always interact with the game that is running behind you. It can be triggered using a hotkey. You can set this hotkey to be anything. For example, currently it's set to Control-Alt-M. So while I'm playing a game, I can just press Control-Alt-M and the overlay will appear in front of me, and I can just interact with it as normal. Let's talk about the backend structure as well. Now, I'm not going to go too much into detail, but here's the basic gist. The first file that you see is the backend.py, and this backend.py contains the API endpoints, routing of various services that the front end directly talks to. Rest of the files are self-explanatory. The chatbot.py, it handles the Gemini integration. The screenshot.py, what it does, it basically takes screenshots of your game on a regular interval. Then it stores them in a secure encrypted database. Then it also stores a bunch of metadata, such as what game you're playing, when the screenshot was taken, for additional contents. Game detection.py, this detects the game that you're playing. It uses the process explorers to detect specific processes that run when you're playing a game. It also detects what game you're playing based on the screenshot you took, and also if it's mentioned in the prompt. Knowledge manager. So when you put the link or a wiki entry into the CSV file, the knowledge manager takes that, extracts the data from those files, from those URLs, and then stores it into the vector database. And the vector service, it contains the Chroma collection, the embeddings, and it handles the Chroma client, embeddings, and the search. Now, a few guys must be worried about security and privacy, as I spoke about the program taking regular screenshots. Well, our app is designed to be secure and private. We use local first design. Or your screenshots, your vector databases, your CSV files are all stored in your machine. And the screenshots are encrypted. And we also manage the API keys using the graphical user interface that stores in a .env file. We don't collect any telemetry data or we provide any external data collection. Now, how you can contribute to this repo? Well, first of all, there's a contributing.md, a markdown file that contains the list of suggestions, improvements, and issues in the file that you can have a look into, or you can create your own ideas, present your own ideas, and showcase them as well. And you can also contact us for any issues you face. Now I'm going to be handing over the presentation to our ML domain tech lead, Shom Roy, to give us a live demo of the app.
All right, sorry about that. Can you stop presenting? All right, everyone. I hope my screen is visible. All right.
Yes, your screen is
So
visible.
let's begin. So this is our code base basically. Once you pull the repository, make sure to run this setup.bat file. So if you're using git bash, you'll write something like /setup.bat. All right. And that will run the initial script and install all your dependencies. So for this, we'll be using the UV package manager. If you don't have UV installed, you can just run this bat file and it will get it installed for you as well. After that, we will go ahead and start our backend server. Now, while this is running, let's go and start up our game, which we'll be playing. So for this one, we'll be showing you the demo on Black Myth Wukong. So I believe many of you will have heard of this game. Let's load it up in the meanwhile. Okay. So our startup has completed. Now, what we can do is we also have a test script here to test basically how our scrapers can retrieve information relevant to a particular game, right? So, for example, you can see that we have a CSV file known as blackmythwukong.csv. Now, here we have various Wikipedia links, fandom links, some descriptions from those Wikipedias, some YouTube channel links, as well as some forum links. We can also add more like Reddit and so on and so forth into this CSV file, right? So that will allow our scraper to visit all of these websites and collect the relevant data that it requires. And we will run a test for that right now. So we can run this file that we've created. Right, so it's testing the game's knowledge base. As you can see, it's processing the various Wikipedia that we have over here. You don't need to run the script. I'm just showing it as for demo purposes. So it's processing Reddit, Steam community, Black Myth Wukong fandom, RPG forum. All right, so the processing is complete. Now it will store all of this information in a vector database. Right, and as you can see, our test script runs a couple of tests, so it gives it a few uh, queries basically regarding relevant to the game, which it won't be able to answer without having the game's relevant information, right? And as you can see here, it is able to give some relevant information regarding what the questions which are asked. Okay, so now we will start our overlays. For that, you have to write uv run overlay.py. All right, and now if you press Control Alt M, as you can see, our overlay has appeared. Now, once you have the overlay, you'd like to go to settings and paste your API key over here. I have already done it, so I don't need to do it again. All right, so let's go into the game and show you how the overlay works. Right, so as you can see, I'm able to control the game and the character while the overlay is still on my screen, right? So as you can see, I can run all sorts of controls while the game is still running and the overlay is still on my screen. But if I move my mouse just right over the overlay, I'll be able to access the overlay. This will still control the game, but I can still access the overlay. Now I can write chat with Pixley, right? And what I'll do is I'll attach a screenshot and I'll write what game am I playing. So as you can see, it processes the image from the game and mentions that I'm playing Black with Wukong. Now we also have context that is based off of the various screenshots that Pixley takes over the course of time. So as you're playing the game, it will take a screenshot every 10 to 15 seconds, and it will store the context in text format from those screenshots. So basically, your chatbot has a complete history of what you have been doing in the game for the time that you've been playing it. That is how we have designed it for now, at least. Although we can always look for improvement. I can move this panel around. You can also add features such as minimizing this panel and adding shortcuts for moving it around the screen. That can also be done. These are all areas in which you can contribute as a contributor. So as you can see, I will start to place a boss over here. So what I can do is I can go here. I can write how to build yellow graph. Meanwhile, I can still play the game. And on the right side, it's giving me the information that I need to beat this boss, which includes using Cloud Score. All right. So this is basically an overview of our game and of our game assistant and how it works. So I hope you enjoyed the demo, and we are looking for your eager contribution to this repository. There are many ways in which we can improve our application, and I look forward to your active participation. We'll be having various maintainers helping you with the project. If you're facing any difficulty in contribution, we'll help you out as well. So feel free to join even if you're a beginner, and we'll try our best to give you a good learning experience. All right, that's all from our side. We can continue to the next presentation.
Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hello everyone. We from the web dev domain of MLSA have brought a goofy yet interesting project idea. Introducing Memeder. Memeder is a platform where you can discover, upload, and upvote memes. So what is it exactly? It is like Tinder but for memes. When we think of Tinder, what is the first thing that comes to mind? The swipe functionality to like and dislike something, right? That's exactly what we'll be implementing in this website. So, what might a sample user flow look like in this site? A user logs in, discovers trending memes, upvotes those memes about software engineers losing their jobs, and they leave with an existential crisis. Now, let's talk about the scope for the contributors in this website. We have issues created for front end, back end, and even UI UX enthusiasts are in. Yeah, even UI UX enthusiasts are encouraged to raise some issues. Now, you can even create feature requests to improve the website and its flow. Now, let's talk about the tech stack used. It is all pretty standard stuff. Most of you must have used these technologies or at the very least heard of them. So for the front end, we are using React, and for the front end, we are using React and Tailwind CSS. And for the backend, we'll be using Node.js, Express, and for the database, we'll be using MongoDB. Now let's move on to the repository itself. We have already created a basic scaffold for the project. Here you can see the backend and front-end folders created for you. But since web dev is quite a popular domain, we have left quite a lot of room for improvements and feature additions. So you can go wild with your creative additions to the repository. I'm eager to see what you guys can come up with. Now, as you can see, we have already raised some issues in the website, so you have a clear idea where to start from. These issues range from purely documentational to entire feature requests. So even if you are a complete beginner, you can start contributing immediately. Now let me give you a quick walkthrough of how to set up this project on your local machine. First, you have install these prerequisites, Node.js, MongoDB. Most of you must already have this on your local computer. Then you can simply clone the repository, CD into the website. Then if you are working on the backend, you can CD into the backend folder, then install all the relevant dependencies. And the important step is to copy the env variables. And it should be correctly set up, otherwise you'll face some issues while trying to set up your project. If you're purely thinking about contributing to the front end, you can simply cd into the front end front end folder, then install dependencies and work your way through that. Now, lastly, I would like to encourage you to follow all the contribution guidelines mentioned in the README file itself. Because when you start contributing to real life open source projects, each project will have their strict guidelines for contributions. So it's better that you start learning how to create professional looking pull requests from this project itself. All right, that's it from my side. Happy coding to you all. Thank you guys.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. I am Kushag Chaudhary from the UIX domain MLSA, and I am excited to introduce Reframe, a collaborative UI UX project under the Hacktoberfest 2025. So the goal of Reframe is very simple. It's to reframe digital experiences using digital thinking. This project encourages participants to create interfaces that are intuitive, user-friendly, and visually appealing. Most importantly, it gives you real-world problem statements to practice skills like user flow, consistency, and visual aesthetics, which are very important and and essential for all the designers. So moving on, let's look what you will be actually doing in the reframe. So you will choose one of the provided problem statements and design a complete UI solution around it. So that this task has clearly three steps. First, you need to understand the problems thoroughly and identify the needs. Next, you need to research the existing solutions and also plan out your user flow. And then finally, design your wireframes and the final UI screens, which you will be doing on the Figma. And to keep this in mind, your focus should always be on solving the real world problems while putting the user at the center of your design. So there are also some set of rules that you need to follow. This is to make sure everyone is on the same page. So the number one rule is, of course, you need to design it on the Figma, which is mandatory. Second is key, there are minimum and maximum frame limits, but they'll vary on the specific problems you choose. Then you guys are allowed to take inspirations from wherever you can. There are many sites such as Behance or and Awards, and there are many more. But do make sure your final work is original. And the last and the fourth rule is, which is the most important, your Figma file should have two components. Basically, it should have two pages. The number one is an idea page, which should have the screenshots and the reference links of the inspirations you will be taking from the sites. And the second is the main design page, on which you will be designing your whole UI and you will be putting your frames. And also you need